Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of Premarket Info.
Joel, we got a rally on our hands here overnight. We got down, we were trading down a little bit down to 1641, but we have turned it around. We are trading near the highs of the session here right now at 1649, up four handles. Is everything good now here, Joel? Market going to turn it all around?
Yeah, those bears must be back in hibernation. Uh, Hit 42 and a quarter late in the session yesterday, kind of a weak close. That was within a buck of our July 10th low of 41 and a quarter. I couldn't take that through overnight, made a 41 even low, and now we're rebounding. First point I'm looking at here is 1651. That was a close that you had from Friday. And then above that, you have Monday's high at 1657.
And doing what it's supposed to do. Gold pulling back when the market is rallying here this morning. So the normal gold trade is back on where it does actually move counter to the market, and gold trading down just slightly here in the pre-market, a couple of bucks. What's the technical showing?
They beat it down through Friday's low, which was 1357. That was a good support point. We bounced up now, trading at 1364.10. Still keep an eye on that 1357
Big
level
number,
if it gets back down.
1352.
Yeah, psychologically, but when we had this up day last week and they took that number out,
Yep.
it just kind of like blew through there. So from a psychological standpoint, I think it is support, but if it gets really rocking and rolling to the downside here, you really don't have a lot of support until really, 13 and a quarter, 1330. But doesn't look like we're going to get there today.
Let's take a quick look at crude here too while we're doing the. We got crude here trading just what is it doing here this morning, Joel? Just down a buck, eh? Giving
Down, it's
back a
getting hot.
little bit.
Yeah, boy, too bad I didn't set my alarm at 1 o'clock last night. This thing had three lows between 106.26 and 106.49. Dipped to 106.26 yesterday, but rebounded not by a whole lot. But then during the night session, we'll take a look at it here from the night perspective. Sellers took advantage of the low liquidity, took it through that triple bottom area, pounded it down to 105.51, got a huge rebound up to 106.5, but I'm keeping an eye on this 105.51 area, Dennis, for a couple reasons. Because you had another double bottom at 105.46, I believe, and 105.51. Just let me check my notes here. Going the 4 and 5 day lows, 105.42 to 105.46. So look for that area to be supported if crude comes down again.
This is retail earnings week here, and we are getting started. Last night we got started with Urban Outfitters URBN reporting numbers there. They actually beat a dollar or 51 cents versus 48. The revenue was a bit light, but they're not carrying. The stock is flying here this morning. Flew last night as well. Wedbush also upgrading the stock. It's up almost $4 here, trading at 43.82. Nice quarter there for Urban Outfitters.
Yep, trading right at the pre-market high here. That was 43.94. Maybe a little psychological resistance at 44. Nice round number like that.
When you look at the chart here, it's even more than psychological. I can see a triple top from the beginning of August right here, right now at this level, 43.94 to 43.98. So that $44, that's a big hurdle for this stock to try to get over. We'll have to see if it can get enough gas. It's traded some big volume, 130,000 shares here even this morning with the volume last night. So, but that $44 is a big number.
Yeah, and if you're trying to short it, perhaps you get one of those scenarios where, they blow it through it on the open, take it up to 44 in a queue or something, and then, come crashing back down through it. But, boy, if this thing can hold the 44 level today, I'd really be surprised.
Best Buy. Wow. That's all I have to say about Best Buy is wow. That stock continues to run It's like we've been saying, once the stocks got momentum, they continue to go. Well, they blew the quarter away. 32 cents versus 12 cents. 9.3 billion versus 9.13 billion. Everything going right here at Best Buy. It got crazy, crazy in the pre-market. It got up to, what, 35.90. That's just a little while ago. It has pulled back since then, trading down 34.18, but that's still up $3.50 from the 4 o'clock close.
Yeah, we haven't looked at this one in quite a while, but did get up to 35.90. Have pulled back over a buck and a half down there. The recent dip took it down under the 34 level of 33.50. So I'll call that minor support to 33.50 level. Keeping an eye on where the stock is traded. This 35.45 level, Dennis, was a high back in February of 2011.
Going
So
back a few years to find these numbers.
yeah, going back a few years, I think you get back up near that 35.5 level. You should find resistance, and for sure to 35.90. This could be one of those scenarios where the pre-market high is put the high in for the day. I know you're going to argue with me, you being your momentum guy, but boy, it just seems a little bit overdone here on the Best Buy.
Well, looking at where this stock has come from, though, I mean, it can kind of go anywhere. $11.20 back in December of 2012. So, going back here 8 months ago, this stock, everybody had it for dead. Everybody was saying, well, they're just, like Amazon is just eating their lunch. And we were even saying it, too. We were kind of beating up the stock from 25.
Yeah.
So we had it right for a while.
Yeah.
We were embarrassed this thing all the way. I remember you wrote an article on Seeking Alpha at 25 saying that you thought Amazon was eating their lunch and the stock was going to go a lot lower. You were right, it went down to $11, but I don't think either of us predicted this insane rally since then, and it has been straight up. I tried to short it a couple times on the way up. I finally gave up. You can't fight this market once momentum starts in one direction. Even though if you have a thesis, obviously I was wrong with that thesis in 2013. It was right in 2012. It was wrong in 2013. Stock has continued to go higher. I don't know where the top is, but obviously it's been on a tear.
And you remember that old CEO was meddling around. He was trying to buy the thing at what 23, 24,
Yeah.
25, 26 and stuff. So he never pulled it off. But I bet you he's
He's
bumming
still
now.
making some money. He's probably still
yeah,
long quite a bit of stock. And Schultz there, wasn't it? Schultz as the CEO
Yep,
there?
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
and
exactly.
he kept putting tender offers out there saying he's going to buy, or proposing that he was going to do a tender offer higher, 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 but he never did do it. And it kept giving little spikes to the stock as he kept doing that. That was on the way down. But man, this March has just been, I don't know if I've seen that in a long time. Stock go from 11.20 so out of favor to basically triple in price here now from that $11.20 low, trading up in the 34 handle. So an incredible move for Best Buy. Home Depot also reported earnings here this morning, $1.24 versus $1.20, $22.52 billion versus $21.72 billion. So they beat on the top, they beat on the bottom. Same store sales are strong, lift their full year outlook, saying everything right here this morning, and the stock is rallying $2 here in the pre-market.
We reached 78.35 here, and since then we've had a little pullback. 77.50, we're just hugging that level, so I consider that minor support. Keep on the long side. You break that 77.50, you got some air down to 77. Looking at it on the daily chart here, kind of had a rough few days here, but found a nice bottom here at 75 before rebounding. Taking a look here, 79. Oh, believe it or not, 4 days ago this thing traded at 79.23. So if the rally continues, through the pre-market high, which was 78.90, keep an eye on 79.23.
We may as well talk about Lowe's with it as well. Lowe's getting a sympathy rally. They will report tomorrow. 44.51 it's trading at right now, so it's trading up 90 cents. Looked like it was kind of starting to break down actually yesterday, but it's getting a nice rally off the Home Depot numbers here today.
Yeah, it looks like caught the street leaning the wrong way here on these earnings. Going up, it got a gap to fill in Lowe's between 40. Looks like from 3 days ago, you had a gap in the stock from 44.64 up to the $45 level. 44.96. So you got to expect a rally another 50 cents here to fill that gap ahead of earnings. You expect resistance at 45.
Yeah, and just to, for those traders that don't listen to our show regularly, when we talk about gaps, basically when you have a space in the chart where stock has gapped down from a previous day, we always say that the stock can move through that area with a little more relative ease because there isn't as many traders who have positions on from prices within that gap area. So that means that there's probably a lot more air when the stock starts to move through there. So when it starts to approach that gap and get into that area, sometimes we looked at it might be able to potentially fill that gap as a potential trade. But Lowe's will report tomorrow, so obviously fundamentals will dictate it there tomorrow morning when they report. J.C. Penney. This was an interesting quarter. They lose $2.16. Supposed to only lose $1.06. They're light on the revenue, $2.66 billion versus $2.76 billion. So they miss on the top line. They miss by a mile on the bottom line. And the stock rallying in the pre-market. I mean, this is the kind of market where I honestly think if you had the report, you had inside information, have the earnings report on some of these companies, it's sometimes hard to even profit from that information because you could have said, oh, they're missing, the stock's going to get killed. No, you're wrong. It's going to rally off of this. So it's a wacky market here. I think their financing was said, they did have, financing there still in place. So I think maybe that helped. Maybe one reason, if you're trying to find a reason for this thing rallying here today on this pretty terrible report. But I mean, everybody's just been bearish the stock too. So maybe they're looking at this this Best Buy chart and saying, well, if Best Buy can go from $11 to $33, maybe J.C. Penney can go from 13 and start rallying here too. Picking bottoms and retail companies that are out of favor seems to be what's happened here. Well, for Best Buy in the last year, I don't think J.C. Penney's going to follow suit, but it's rallying this morning on a bad report.
Yeah, that was probably Ackman in there trying to boost his position here or something. Yeah,
you got the pre-market.
I guess, I don't know. You got to pop up to 1420 on that initial surge, and then reality set in. People started actually looking at the numbers here, and we've settled back to 1350. I think you got a nice setup here in this chart with the $14 level acting as a good resistance. After scraping at 1234, actually made multiple lows between 1250 and 1270. You get a little bit of a rebound here, but those short-term traders won out at 14 in a bad way. So I'm not even going to start looking at this stock on the long side until you can clear that $14 number. Coming back on the downside here. You did get to 1296 yesterday, so that's called the $13 level support. But you got to think, anywhere in that 12 handle, there should be plenty of buyers.
Dick's Sporting Goods, another retailer, reporting earnings here this morning. Well, actually, I think they reported last night, or no, it was this morning. 71 cents versus 74. $1 or 1.53 billion versus 1.57 billion. So they miss on the top, miss on the bottom. They're cutting full year guidance, 260 to 265 versus 283. Stock closed at 50.59, is now trading in the 48 handle here. So they're shaving off a couple of bucks on this Dick's Sporting Goods report.
Yeah, 47.89. Just hit that in the pre-market. Got a slight rebound up to 48.50. So those are your early parameters. Only down 254. Let's look at the daily. Well, the daily's not going to do you much.
Couple
here,
numbers
perhaps.
out in April, late April, early May. We bottomed just below 48. About three times there. I'm looking 47.63 on April the 30th, 47.74 on May the 1st, and then 47.80 on May the 2nd. So you do have some support just nibbling under the 48 handle, which is where we kind of bounced in the pre-market as well.
Yeah, I'd have to concur with you on that. I mean, the 48.50 level, we've already taken that out. I do see a low in May of this year. Early May, you went down to 47.63. So if the decline continues, looking at 47.63 as support.
Jeffries, interesting. They must have been, the Jeffries analysts must have been eating at a lot of different restaurants because they are upgrading Chipotle, CMG. They are upgrading Red Robin Gourmet Burgers, RRGB. They are downgrading Panera Bread, and they are downgrading BBRG, which is Bravo Burrito Restaurant. So lots of opinions from Jeffries on the restaurants here. Let's start with Chipotle. It's obviously trading a bit higher here, kind of been on a little bit of a run, but consolidated in the last month right around this $400 level. Do you think this 400 eventually is going to hold and this thing's going to start running here again, Joel? It is up $3 in the pre-market.
Yeah, taking a look at the pre-market here, you have made a pop-up above 407 here. You've actually reached 407.24, so 407.26. We'll keep an eye on that level as potential resistance in the issue. Now looking a little bit longer term, I guess you need to go out and take a look here at the weeklies. The stock has been hanging out above the $400 level
For a good month. It gapped up there nice and then hung out there at the 400 area. Retested it here in the last few days, but it's kind of trying to hold here. So it's an interesting setup. If we can start getting above yesterday's high and start running here.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. You had two weekly highs at 407.26 and 407.57. So let's keep an eye on those. If not, you got some room up to 413.02. But I really don't like their burritos, so I don't think I'll be buying the stock today.
Let's go to Panera Bread just quickly here. PNRA. Not much volume in the pre-market on this, but it is one that can sometimes have a little bit of action once the day starts. It is offered down and traded down. Just ticked a couple shares, 100 shares at 172.50. Is offered at 172.83. It closed at 173.66. So it does look like it is going to open down with this Jeffries downgrade. 2 days ago, got down to 171.26. Do you think we can test that today?
Yeah, it's only a little over a buck away from there, so keep an eye on that 170, 126. After that, it really opens up to the 3-day low of 168.63. Then the super major support here, don't think we'll see it today. The double bottom of 165.55 and 165.60. Coming back on the upside if you're looking to sell here on a pop. You are trading right here at yesterday's low, 172.48. So you may have a chance here to short this thing without without selling into a gap.
Let's quickly look at a couple stocks there. Your momentum stocks are going back into. Start with Facebook because it's up another 60 cents here again today. I know somebody was raising some price target on it here again. 38.45 is where it's trading at this morning. It's up 64 cents, closed at 37.81. Just this Facebook, it's just a stock that obviously since the earnings it had the gap and go. It pulled back a little bit there with the overall market the last few days. But what we've been telling you is it's good to identify those stocks. We said this yesterday on the show with Facebook. It's good to identify the stocks that are showing relative strength overall to the market. And Facebook is showing relative strength. And when the market goes to turn, I do believe, this could actually be one of your leaders again. Fundamentally, I'm still not in love with it. I think it's, a little bit of crazy valuation, but technically it looks pretty good. It looks strong, and I like the relative strength.
Yeah, after sneaking above 39, but not being able to close above that level, you gotta pull back. But for people looking to get out here on the second time around, you can target the 38.50 area up to 38.74. Those are the highs that you had on April 9th and April 12th. So call that 38.60 number. Good resistance, only 15 cents away from there. Above that, the high of the move has been 39.32. Had a couple highs, 39.19, 39 a quarter, 39.32. But being up, up 65 cents in the pre-market, I think you'll get some initial resistance at that 38.75 level.
Another stock that's just held up very well with the recent pullback in the market is Tesla. It was one of your leaders, obviously, before we started to get this pullback. And I believe if the market does turn around, the Tesla will be one of the leaders probably again. The crazy valuation stocks, it just seems to not matter. They can have multiples of whatever. We saw it with Amazon before. We saw it with so many stocks. Basically, it seems like multiples or earnings multiples isn't really what is driving this market. It's momentum, and Tesla has momentum still going. It's trading up another $2 here this morning. It has pulled back with the overall market, but I like this chart. I think it still looks good technically.
Yeah, I got some good news. I got some bad news on Tesla.
Okay, let me have the good news first.
Well, the good news is I haven't lost any money shorting it from, from 30 to 158.88.
Okay, what's the bad news?
The bad news is when it traded up around 146 and a half, 147 yesterday, I bought some puts.
Oh, you bought puts.
Uh,
So you're playing
yeah,
the other way
yeah,
on this thing. You're leaning the other way. You're bearish.
yeah. I mean, I got to make my contribution here, but there's a, there is a sound technical reason for that. And the reason I was targeting that area is you had a rally, the all-time high here, 158.88. You had a break down to 135. That 147 level marks the 50% retracement. It
I'm
did
looking at the
sneak over.
fibs.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at the fib on them. This one. I'm also looking at that 150
Yep.
level. You had a couple of tops up there, so yeah, I bought the out of the money one. So I'm basically going to need a Tesla car to explode while it's charging or something
Which ones did
overnight
you
to make.
buy? Which ones did you buy?
I bought the
The
143s. They
143s,
were
yeah.
Yeah, they were cheap. Of course, on the weekly, so you can almost count it going down next week.
It's so hard to get the timing right on some of these options there. Obviously, there's some money to be made, also some money to be lost. It's just it's the timing on options. It's all timing, obviously. Let's quickly look at Apple here. We're starting to run low on time here. Apple trading up again a couple of bucks. Obviously, it's had a lot of momentum ever since the icon tweets. Yesterday, the market was weak. Didn't matter to Apple. It was breaking out anyways. Here we are again with Apple trying to trade up. Obviously, yesterday's high, 513.74, would be a little bit of a hurdle here. If it can get above there, I'm still thinking this thing can make a run for 520. I said yesterday on the show. I'm going to say it again. I like the momentum in Apple. I like the momentum in Facebook. Well, and I still like the chart in Tesla. So these are three stocks that I think have good relative strength going on.
Right, 513.74 was your high on Monday in Apple, and then you can call resistance all the way up to 514.99. That was your high on July 23rd. So took one shot at that area. Perhaps today you'll get another shot above 515 here. I believe I'm trying to remember back in January here when they had one of their punk earnings report. I think you had a. Let me go back on my chart
I'm
here.
looking at it too.
You did have, yeah, you had a couple. Yeah, you had a gap down from a 519.02 low on January 11th, and the next day it gap down $12. So above that 515 level, you go back to 519.02 to fill the gap from January 11th and January 14th.
S&P futures starting to pull back here since we started the show. We were trading up near the highs of 1649.75. We have pulled back, trading 1646.75. So this little rally we had is starting to fizz out already. 1647. Is this just a little pullback here, and we're going to continue to try to go back up to those highs, or does this market just seem to be selling any type of rally that it gets?
You got a round number there that's 1650 level, 1649.75, and you also had Friday's close at 1651. So keeping an eye on that is if you're looking for a lower risk short entry. It just seems like they're just pumping the spoos up a little bit from some of the MOCs that they took home. Some of these selling balances that pushes down on the close. So people trying to wiggle out of some stock here, but. I still don't think the low end for this move is in as of yet. If we did get back and close back over 1650, then I think the correction is over.
That's our show for today, guys. Have a great trading day, and back at you tomorrow.